how's the penetration of mental health services? For example, if there are 100 people who are wanting some form of mental health, and what current programs are there in the marketplace to deliver what part of it from the whole spectrum point of view?
Yeah, I think, look, this is supported by a lot of our reports and things we've done in mental health in the last 10 years. It's great that we have new services that come on board, but there's still a lot of gaps in the services. So a lot of our funding is focused on hospital beds and then higher acuity residential supported beds. And I guess this is the challenge, is that I would love to see more investment in early intervention and prevention in mental health and suicide and services in the community, but it can't be at the expense of supported residential accommodation. Yeah. And people often think and look at this and think, gee, it's expensive to keep people in supported accommodation. It is, but it's about a third of the cost of hospital. Yeah. So, it's costing a lot to keep people in hospital, but in order to have, because the system is all very interconnected. Yeah. So if we want to have hospital beds available for people when they need them, especially with first episode of psychosis, for example, the people who are long stay need to be moved out of the hospital. And in many instances, they need supported residential accommodation for an extended period of time. So it's kind of a chicken and egg. Well, we need these residential services to free up the hospital beds to help for people who need them to come out of the emergency departments. Because people say, well, I've got a loved one who went to emergency department because they're experiencing psychosis or mental stress. And it's like, well, there's no beds for them. Yeah, often there's no beds because there's long stay people in the wards. And so people say, oh, we need more beds. That could be part of it. But let's look, at any given time, a third of these beds can be occupied by long stay people who don't need to be in hospital. And they would much rather be in the community. And so we need more of those community-based services to increase the throughput through the hospital beds and make sure that people have access to the beds when they need them. But we also need so many more services in the community to support people in the very first instance of mental distress.
Exactly. And before we close, the last one is, what's one book or person have impacted your purpose? A book, a quote, something which has impacted your life purpose?
There's probably a few. For me, I grew up with a Christian faith, and people can, I realise that people can have similar values to me and not have a Christian faith. But for me, I guess that's where I derive my sense of social justice around, why everyone has an inherent value. Why does everyone deserve an access to a service? Is because every person is valuable, and a Christian faith tells you very quickly and easily when you study Christian faith, you realise that's absolutely inherent in the teaching, that every person is valuable. Every person has a right to not be judged and to be accepted and loved for who they are. And a very easy extension of that is to say when people are in need, they have the right to have the best care and support that they need at the time they need it. So I would say that's been really influential for me. I've also been I've worked for some, in my younger years, people who are really fantastic, great managers and great CEOs who've been really demonstrated great values-based leadership.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Andres.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.